Get out of my way, catcher. Today on SB Baseball Podcast. And welcome to the SB Baseball Podcast with your pals Alan and Rappa Dave. I'm Alan.
I'm RD. How we doing, bud?
Doing good. How you doing, man?
Oh, we just finished up the Strikeout Beer live stream, so it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
And now we get to talk a little baseball before we retire to the backyard. Have a couple stogies, a couple drinks, watch some baseball, and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of baseball, we're here to talk baseball.
Ooh.
And there's just something that's kind of got you a little fired up right now.
I don't even know what's going on. Like, what is wrong with the new catcher interference rule? Is absolutely insane.
So let me just go ahead and say this. When you say new catcher interference rule, this rule was put in place in 2014.
Yeah, but they can't seem to
2014.
They
9
can't
years
seem to
ago.
enforce it, right? Here we go. Catcher interference. Definition. The batter is awarded first base if the catcher or any other fielder interferes with him at any point during the pitch. That's fine. What the hell are we even talking about? No, they didn't even talk about home plate.
It's so I watched
Everybody's done.
I watched this video and it talked about how like you need to give them the lane, right?
Yeah.
And the exception is like the catcher can move to, if the throw takes them,
Yeah.
somewhere, that's fine.
Yeah.
And the two big calls you're talking about is you've got Jonah Heim, right?
Yeah.
Elvis Andrews running home.
Uh-huh.
He's set up on one side of the plate. The throw kind of takes him to the other side. He catches it over his left shoulder.
He's got his toes on the plate. It's called just being aware of where the plate is and what you got going on.
Right.
Look, you can't even find rules on this. Like, it's really called catcher's defensive interference. That's really what it's called.
This is all Buster Posey's fault because he got blown up at home and
run over,
just trucked and was out for like a year because just broke every bone of his body. But
I felt so bad for him too.
But then you also had one shortly after that with the Giants that happened, and that one was a little bit different because the catcher at that point he was straddling the foul line.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So he had 1 foot in foul territory, the rest of his body over in fair territory. Mm-hmm. So that one's a little bit different. And it wasn't because the throw necessarily took him there.
That's his natural position.
He just took a different line to the ball. And he could have taken a line to the ball that would not have had him on both sides. Yeah. Right? It's so if he was all in fair territory, there's no problem there. But I think the issue was he was in both. And the throw didn't take him there.
So according to MLB, now you have to type in some goofy words to even get to where this is. It's called collisions at home plate.
Okay.
Definition. The base runner is not allowed to deviate from his direct path to initiate contact with the catcher or any other player covering the plate. Runners are considered to be in violation of this rule if they collide with the catcher in cases where the slide could have been used to avoid collision. If the umpire determines that the runner violated this rule, the runner shall be ruled out and the ball is dead. The other runners must return to their last base they have touched at the time of the collision. Like, it really doesn't even... It says the catcher is not permitted to block the runner's path to the plate unless he is in possession of the ball, though blocking the path of the runner is a legitimate attempt to receive a throw is not considered a violation. You hear how they're jumbling all over the place? Like they had a bunch of lawyers write this stuff up. The runner can be ruled safe if the umpire determines that the catcher violated the rule. It's per September 2014, as you said. When receiving a throw, catchers will often provide a slide lane into home plate for the runner to lower the possibility that they will be called for violating the rule. Likewise, runners can lower their chances of being called for a violation by sliding in the given lane. It's so stupid. I don't want to see collisions either, but when you got a guy that's got his toes on the home plate, he's receiving the ball for a play at the plate, where the hell's he supposed to stand? You know what I mean? And then there's no consistency.
But then you also have the argument of it's not a force play, so why are you touching the plate?
That's how you know where you are. It's called you're having to know where you are, and you got a little grip on that little plate. You're sitting there, you're touching it with your toes. Your front cleat part is on it. Okay. That's how you know you're on the plate.
But so you touch it real quick, you know where you're at, you take your foot off of it.
He didn't block him. Like he didn't block any. He didn't impede him at all.
Again, with both of these cases, I don't think there was any. Both these runners were out.
Yeah.
By a mile.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not necessarily a mile.
It seems like,
they were both out.
You're going to find out later in life that there was like some betting involved from the umpires or somebody.
But it wasn't even the umpires there. It was New York.
Right? It was a terrible
because
call from New York.
I think the umpires both made the correct call.
They called them out
in both cases. Mm-hmm. Now with the second one, with the Giants, I could see them overturning that because again, the catcher was straddling the fair and foul line. Mm-hmm. I get that, right?
If you're straight up blocking the plate, or you force the runner into having a slide like a foot or step or a step or two early,
and the catcher had to, the runner kind of had to go a little bit out of his way and all that. But again, the ball was there; he was out.
Yeah.
Right. But both of these were challenged and overturned.
Yeah.
I feel like this is almost a case of like I feel like these were things that you should have seen the year these rules were implemented, right? Like you have a rule that's implemented and you have an overcorrection the next year.
Yeah, and you're talking about 2014.
But
this should be dialed in.
These are things that happened in 2014. So to see them now is a little weird. I'm almost confused by it.
I'm confused by the inconsistency of the calls. That's what I have a problem with. And if I see something that's blatant, I'm okay with it.
Again, it's not the inconsistency of the calls because I think the calls are going right. It's you had coaches who challenged them.
Yeah. Well, no, when I say
and they were overturned,
it's called New York. That's what I have a problem with.
But you don't see a lot of these challenged, right?
You should challenge everyone.
You've had a couple. Maybe you should.
Yeah, going forward.
Maybe more would be overturned.
Which is
but then you have some cases, some coaches are like, yeah, I'm not going to challenge it because it is what it is. But maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe more calls will be overturned if more were challenged, which would maybe lead to a change in the rule.
Yeah. I mean, when you go in and you want to search any of this, now most people, when I did the show a couple weeks ago, that was the hot topic, right? It just happened. And you're like overturn outs or prompting confusion, frustration over MLB blocking the plate rule. Here's a look right there at he's even out of the way and slapping the tag on Andrews.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
Again, that one I didn't quite get.
You're sitting there just like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And why is this even a problem? And then why is New York even getting involved with overturning it?
Because it was challenged.
I understand getting
challenged. It goes to New York.
Yeah, I understand getting challenged, but then how could they be so just ridiculous with overturning this?
You watch any play in slow motion and you can come up with a reason to overturn it.
Oof. So insane.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm all for not trucking catchers and things like that, or someone thinking they're going to come in and truck the catcher and they get hurt themselves, because that happens. But, for the fact that you can't, what are you supposed to be where you can actually successfully lay a tag on somebody? Some of this stuff has happened. Obviously, the runner Elvis Andrus did what he was supposed to, get down and slide. He didn't even slide feet first. He dove.
Head first, without mittens.
Yeah, without mittens on. Jonah Heim sitting there, he receives the ball. He's out of the way. You see him laying the tag. He gives him away. He gives him his lane.
100%.
I don't get it. I think it just goes to show you that, these guys, the umpires are New York, the overlords, don't know what the hell they're talking about. You see it every Sunday with the NFL. You see it every day with the MLB. No one knows what they're doing. They don't know how to enforce these rules, and I'm completely done.
We just got to get rid of umpires and everyone just go with robots.
Just robots.
Robots everywhere,
straight robots.
Right? Just all robots.
Yeah, when I say straight robots, I don't mean just straight heterosexual robots. I mean just straight robots across the board.
I mean, no one thought that. Just you.
There's some people out there that thought that.
Not that watch us. They know.
Terrible, inconsistent calls, which leads to just dissent.
I'll be curious because it's kind of like you had a few calls and then it's died off since then.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see kind of where it goes, for the rest of the season.
We let it marinate for a week because I was super hot.
You were so pissed last week.
I was like,
and that was ridiculous. A week after it happened, right? But
I felt like we needed to let it marinate.
Yeah, just it is what it is.
Yep. So, but yeah, no, I'm here for safety. Here for it, right? But when you guys can't make...
Well, when they mess with your now Texas Rangers, because they're better than the Red Sox, so we're going Rangers, not Red Sox.
When they can't make a call consistently and can't figure out what's going on, that's a massive problem. It's a massive problem.
Consistently, they've been
actually
right.
It'll cause wins. It'll cost you a win.
Yeah, the Giants lost that game because of that, right?
Yeah, and the Rangers lost the game because of that. So, it was the last call of the game. Like, came down to it. And so that was the winning run.
There's still a couple innings left.
Like an inning. Yeah, it was in the 8th, I think, when that happened. So, anything else?
No, we're just talking catchers and stay out of the way.
Yeah. All right, so stay out of the way. Let the runner come on in. No big deal at all. You heard it here first.
That's right. Hey, everyone scores. Everyone wins. Everyone's happy. But thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you guys. Go ahead and drop that follow if you're feeling nice. And if you're feeling extra nice, drop that 5-star review. We'd appreciate it. But as always, I'm Alan.
Rapid Dave.
We'll talk to you guys later. Deuces. Thank you for listening to SB Baseball Podcast.